I'm going to root for LeBron and the Lakers in this series because I like LeBron and I've never really been, I acknowledge how great Steph is, but I want to take the Warriors to win the championship. I'm kind of I'm twisting myself into a pretzel here. Let's talk about series price here, Ken, and what you think of this number, which I think kind of comes down in between what you and I thought it was going to be, right? I thought I had it a little less. You had Golden State a little bit more of a favorite. Golden State minus 160, Lakers plus 130.
I think that the Warriors are more, just my opinion, I think the Warriors are more likely to win the series than this price, and I look forward to finding an opportunity to bet them to win the series, but I don't really want to bet them to win the series before it starts. And I think that this is a really good chance for the Lakers to steal a game in the series because of the setup for game one and because of the market, right? Warriors are 4.5, 5 on an incredible fatigue disadvantage. I also think an aspect of the series, and Steve Kerr is getting dragged a little bit. I feel like this year, even last year, sometimes during the playoffs where it's he doesn't, it's just a byproduct of being around so long and being so successful that now it's when he does stuff, people are oh, what an idiot. That's Steve Kerr. Be oh, you mean the guy with 98 NBA championships? That guy? I don't think it can be overstated how much of a coaching mismatch this series is. I actually think Darvin Ham might not have any idea what he's doing in this series. And I think the Lakers tend to do the same stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense over and over and over and over and over again. And it works because LeBron and Anthony Davis are so good. And I don't think that was required to beat Memphis. And Memphis threw a couple things at him, but Memphis had no players. Taylor Jenkins is probably sitting over there well, who am I supposed to play? What am I supposed to do here, basically? And that's not really what this series is. And I will be curious. I mean, Darvin Ham could definitely prove me wrong, obviously. I'm going into this being I actually think this is a really, really big coaching mismatch. Even from an experience standpoint, it's a really big coaching mismatch. And so I think the longer the series goes, advantage Warriors, no question, for me. Curry's the best player in the series right now. So yep. The Warriors have a much better coach. They have the best player in the series. I think the longer the series goes favors them. They have home court in game 7. I think they can get got in game 1. I would actually be really worried. I would actually, if I had no interest in the series at all, I would strongly consider betting the Lakers in game 1. I actually think this is their chance to steal one of the two. And so I'm just going to wait. And it's well, what if the Warriors win game 1? I'm still going to bet them to win the series and I'll pay more. Because now I think that's not it's a wrap, but they're very, very likely to win at that point. So I'm not going to buy before game 1 because I think the Lakers are a little more alive than this. I might even bet the Lakers in game 1. If the Warriors can get through this, I think they got it. If the Lakers win, I actually think it's a good entry point because that was a really bad setup for the Lakers and Warriors, specifically for Golden State.
The Knicks are 6.5-point favorites tomorrow night in game 2, and this looks like it's going to hit 7. Total here is 207.5. Miami's now minus 150 to win the series. Knicks are plus 125. How are you looking to play well game 2, where we don't know yet about Julius Randle or Jimmy Butler, their kind of status heading into this game? Are you looking to play anything with the series as well with the Heat and the Knicks in the East?
I do think the Knicks bounce back here. And, my overall opinion of the series is Miami can't keep getting away with this, man. The idea that they're getting these contributions from players not named Jimmy Butler is just ridiculous. And at some point they're, going to find regression, particularly with respect to their 3-point shooting. I think really well done second half adjustments by Eric Spoelstra in game 1. But I also think he, in general, exposed a lot of what he has in terms of, adjustments to make throughout the series. And if Tibbs and his crew, they did a very, very great, a very, very solid job, I would say, all season, really kind of getting the most out of the talent on this Knicks team. I would expect that they have some counter adjustments that will be especially effective. And I like New York laying 4.5 in the first half tomorrow. I think that's the best angle because, again, decent chance Jimmy Butler's a decoy if he plays at all. And really and truly, outside of his, offense for that team, everything looks like it's ready to come crashing down from a regression standpoint. So, Miami finishing in the 80s or 90s wouldn't blow me away in this game. And yes, some of that is, depending on Julius Randle is back and is performing at the level we would expect. And if that doesn't, end up materializing, maybe I've already made a bad bet laying the 4 points with the Knicks for the first half. But either way, I think they come out with an inspired effort and take a healthy lead into the tunnel. So first half Knicks, best bet on the board in that game for me.
If you're already going to be bad and the market expects you to be bad, then the incumbent quarterback is at a huge disadvantage because you gain nothing by playing him if you're bad, and the market expects bad.
Titans win total in the market right now sitting at 7.5 to Ken's point. The reason I asked you that question about Levis and Tannehill, and then like what would the market be for like Minshew versus Anthony Richardson? Probably close to even, right? Maybe Minshew starts half the year before Richardson takes over. They got to get him live reps this season. He's the 4th overall pick in the draft.
Is it?
Unless
is
they're
it 50-50?
in it with Minshew.
I don't know, man.
You think Richardson's more of a favorite?
Yeah, because like I don't know. Like answering this is like a mock draft where it's like, well, what would I do? I have no idea what they're gonna do. I know like Irsay said, like, yeah, you have to start him as fast as possible. He had some kind of like murky, ambiguous quote that seemed to indicate he would love him to start day one, but he's also the owner. So like, I don't know. I will. My philosophy on this is just like I just play him. Like just play him. Like I just like what is the goal this year? Like what's like Bryce Young's going to play from day one.
The goal should be to get him up to speed.
Right.
That should be
develop him.
Like nothing else matters other than like his development this year. They could go 3-14, but if he's good, then then the season's a smash success. I actually like that you answered the question that way. And you think Richardson should be a favorite over Minshew? Okay, so if that's true, CJ Stroud's going to start all 17 games for the Texans if he's healthy. We think Will Levis should be a favorite over Ryan Tannehill to start more games this year for the Tennessee Titans. We think Anthony Richardson's going to start more games for the Colts this year than Gardner Minshew. That means in the AFC South, there will be 3 rookie quarterbacks starting and then Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. They're minus 160 to win the division. I know we've talked about this before. Someone tell me how that isn't the worst price on the board right now. The most incorrect price. And maybe I'm wrong. I'm not the math guy. But you could tell me, like, actually it's right. I feel like that is an insane price. They should be like minus 300.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the start of a defense of that price is like, well, they are a big favorite. It's like a 4-team division in a sport with incredible parity, and they're holding minus 160. So like they're a big favorite in their division. I think we both think they should be a bigger favorite because of like kind of the lack of teeth that their opponents have. What is it that makes regular season hockey so much different than postseason hockey?
Well, I think, Ken, this one was like a 116 NCAA March Madness upset because nobody had. Look, the Panthers played well down the stretch. Ken, I think, and you guys had mentioned this, and I heard you talking earlier in the show because I am a fan of the show as well as a guest. I think it's about adversity. These teams breeze through the season like Tampa did back in the day, like Boston did back in this season. And they don't have a lot of adversity. And you know what? You're going to get adversity from game 2. They got it from game 1. It changes. The paradigm changes. And some teams just can't shift. Plus, I think with respect to Boston, I keep going back. And I told you guys, you asked me a couple of weeks ago what the one possible flaw was. I pointed at a 37-year-old and a 36-year-old centerman, Iceman, in Krejci and Bergeron. And that had a lot to do with it. It's age. You go through an 82-game season, and now you learn that Bergeron had a herniated disc in his back. So that was kind of the fatal flaw. But I just think that these teams, you mentioned, they don't play a game of consequence when you're President's Trophy winner for months at a time. And then, okay, you got to gear it up against a really motivated Florida team with a guy who's playing, MVP caliber puck in Matthew Tkachuk. I think that's what it is. Plus, there's not much to separate these teams. Even though there's separation in the league, once you get there, you got to have goaltending. You got to have healthy goaltending, experienced goaltending. You talk about Omar and Vanacek and Georgiev. These guys have played 2 or 3 playoff games in their careers. I know they've been really good in the regular season, but it changes so much. Once you're fighting for feet in the regular season, you fight for inches in the postseason. That might be a cliche, but it's actually true for the NHL.
So our new executive producer on You Better You Bet is Alex Fasano, and Alex joins us now. Alex, congratulations officially here. First time on the air here on You Better You Bet.
Gentlemen, it is an honor, a pleasure to join this crazy crew we got here on You Better You Bet. I mean, where does it get any better? You get NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, and the Mario Brothers movie. I mean, where do you beat that? That's insane. You guys are making me feel nostalgic, and I'm only 27 years old. Don't even know my own age. But it's great to be here, guys. Happy to be a part of the show.
So, Alex, tell the audience. Go ahead, Ken.
I was going to say that was a very Alex. How long you been working on that first answer? That was like a good polished like. I need to say this. I need to say this. Like this is going to be like my energy or whatever.
I'll say a week.
Like how long you been?
I'll say a week just
one?
for you. I'll say I've held that for a week now, maybe.
Yeah.
Because the plan was maybe last week introduce me, this week introduce me. A lot of things running in my head today, especially.
All right. Tell the audience about yourself.
Well, happy to be here, guys, joining Ken and Nick here. As you guys said, diehard Steelers fan. We got the calendar in the background. Big Islanders fan. Tough loss this past weekend. We thought we could force a Game 7, but I've been to too many Game 7s in the past years. Let's just hit the reset button already. Big Mets fan. I've been a producer for the past 4 or 5 years, and I'm just happy to be here with you guys talking sports. I mean, I got the whole bar set up here. I might have to take a couple drinks here based on how this night goes and how the bets go, but it's been a very cold week the last week, so it's been a little dry for me on the alcohol front.
All right. Alex is very fired up. Maybe you need a drink right now to like relax and settle the nerves a little
like
bit.
A couple shots.
So Alex, what are your favorite sports to bet? You said you've been cold recently, but like when you bet, what are your favorite sports bets? Like when we bring you on the air to give bets out, like what sports would you say are your forte?
Well, this is why you guys are the professionals, and I'm here behind the scenes, helping everybody look good. I'm a big fan of parlays, and that's the problem, right? We don't want too many legs in a parlay. I originally was doing 6 legs, 7 legs back in college, and now I've kind of chipped it down to 3. So all weekend and all playoffs, I've been doing like 1 25-point score from this game, 1 30-point score from this game, and so on and so forth. Maybe take a side here and there. So Jimmy Butler was my 1 leg missed from this past weekend because I had him at 30 and he only finished with 25. So it's been a lot of NBA playoffs. I have a couple futures on some NHL teams. I got a parlay for the Canes and the Rangers. So I'm with you guys tonight to advance in the series. So the Canes knocked out my Isles. It was kind of like a hedge happiness, so to speak, kind of thing. So a lot of futures in the Stanley Cup. And I have a Warriors 10-1 ticket as well. So we're riding that for as long as we can.
Any other interests, Alex, besides for sports?
You guys have been talking Nintendo this whole time. I'm a huge Nintendo guy. I'm dating myself here because, Ken, I got your reference about the Rainbow Road shortcut, but then I didn't get the reference of like the theme song. So it's very hit or miss.
Bowser's Fury is it's a late game. So Bowser's Fury is that's past even your. Like, that's past all of us. That game came out like 5 years ago. It's actually like a really recent game. So yeah, but the references are all over. Have you seen the movie?
So I wanted to see it this weekend. I hit my friend up. Hey, you want to see the Mario movie with me on Saturday? He said no. So I was like, okay, I'm not just going to go to the theater myself. So I'm going to try and get it
Why
this
not?
weekend.
It was awesome. Were you hating on me?
I love going to the theater by myself. Yeah.
I wouldn't dream of it, Nick. But I'm tempted to because I want to ask this, though. Do I go this weekend or do I wait for it to come out? It's already been a month in theaters. How much longer is it going to be in theaters, or is it just worth it to wait until it comes out on demand?
I don't know. You're doing like generic host stuff now, which is very funny. Like, what do I do here?
I'm sorry.
Do I wait? It's going to be on TV.
I've enjoyed
this
interview so much. Alex, I hope you're a really good sport because we're gonna loosen you up on the air a lot. We're gonna
let's be honest right now, because like Alex. My sense is that Alex is a really good, like a good kid. I say kid only because I'm older than he is. Like a really good guy. I feel like Alex right now is doing an impersonation of what he thinks someone should be saying when they come on the air for the first time, like in this role. Yeah, so we slowly but surely will like chip away and find out who like the real Alex is.
So we'll get real Alex. What if real Alex is actually like a evil? It's like a bad person.
We'll see when the camera goes. I think I'm gonna have to grab one of the shot glasses real quick. That's the real Alex.
All right. You had enough airtime for today. Good talking to you. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah.